Angelique Kidjo was born into a family of musicians and surrounded by traditional Beninese and Yoruba music growing up. She started to perform with her mother's theater group at age 6, giving her early exposure to the arts in Africa.
That's Natasha Agarwal reading from her new book, Tales of African Women Trailblazers. It describes the lives of 21 African-born women who've overcome challenges to find success in various fields.
My goal with this book is really to show young African girls what's out there because they may not be aware of those possibilities.
And if she sounds young, that's because she is. She's a 17-year-old high school senior at the Canterbury School in Fort Myers. She wrote the books because she wanted young African girls to be able to see a successful future for themselves with education and freedom to pursue their interests.
I discovered that this gap was disproportionately affecting women. There's, forced marriage, there's gender stigmas, there's premature workforce entrance that are all more prevalent among young girls in Africa. So that's when I decided that these girls, as I read, didn't even have often the exposure to envision a better future for themselves, different than the ones they were experiencing currently.
Agarwal was able to contact one of the women in the book, Nana Ama Brown-Kluche, a professor of physics at the University of Ghana, offered to spearhead distributing the book in her home country.
She told us she planned to visit 50 schools and distribute 20 books each school.
In 2021, Agarwal created the nonprofit organization BelieveNBooks, which distributes books to underserved children.
I read that kids in low-income families receiving welfare benefits hear about 63,000 to 153,000 less words than kids in middle to upper class families per month. And so I think that's a large reason as to why we have to work to fight the literacy gap.
Together with the group, Agarwal continues to do book drives. They have distributed 120,000 books so far.
I began watching stories of children who, across the country, lacked access to reading materials. I really started thinking, how can my gently used books that I'm no longer using benefit someone else and potentially even their future?
Agarwal hopes to continue a series that features women from other continents.
It's the first of the Believe in Me series here. In the future, I'm hoping to continue and publish books that feature women from, many different continents in the world. So that's the long-term goal here. In her teenage years, Asisat took a liking to soccer, playing for hours a day in the streets of Nigeria. Her parents assumed it was a phase, believing that sports were not an acceptable career path.
For WGCU News, I'm Cary Barbor with help from Andrea Melendez.